Michael put some mayo on his first career Grand Slam as a big leaguer and left the best team in baseball saying, "What the Helman?"
You are Locked On Rangers, your daily Texas Rangers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are locked onto the Texas Rangers, the first and best daily Rangers podcast. I'm Bryce Paddock, a cripplingly addicted Texas Rangers fan, covering this team for 12 seasons, including all 7 as the founder and host of this podcast. Thank y'all so much for making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. If not already, you can follow me on Twitter at Bryce Paddock. You can follow the show at Locked On Rangers. Hit subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform and on YouTube, where the best way can help grow the show is to comment nearly any single thing below. Now, on today's show, we're talking about the Rangers' Little Rascals playing hero with one of the most unlikely heroes in this one, shutting out the best team in baseball and a whole slew of injured players that look like they might just be ready to help the Rangers push this thing across the finish line and into the month of October. Before we get into all that, this episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Now, the Rangers win 5-0 over the Milwaukee Brewers, the best team in baseball, I'd say by a pretty comfortable margin, at least at this point in the regular season. Will they go on and win their first World Series in franchise history? I don't know about all of that, but they have been incredible this season. And this was an incredible, unbelievable win for these little rascal Rangers, just a ragtag bunch of kids who don't know any better than to say, "Oh, is this hard? What? Like it's hard?" I mean, it really did feel like a Legally Blonde moment of Michael Helman going in there and his first career big league grand slam. Heck, the Rangers' first grand slam of the year, the 29-year-old out of Lincoln, Nebraska, who is maybe the most unlikely of these Rangers little rascals. There's been a lot of these young, scrappy rookies who have been providing a whole lot of value for this Rangers team. Some of them are a little more expected. Alejandro Ozuna was just an absolute spark plug in spring training. He's a guy who's appeared on a lot of Rangers top 30 prospect lists. Maybe I should have had him higher on mine, but he's definitely provided some value and some big moments for the Rangers this season, including those 2 runs in extra innings in the only win the Rangers got in that Arizona series. There's been Cody Freeman, who has been barely on some Rangers top 30 prospect list. I probably should have had him a little bit higher. A converted catcher who is just a total baseball rat, who has been crushing it this season in AAA and has had some really big moments in this run. Dustin Harris, who got DFA'd 5 weeks ago and then came up with the biggest single hit of the season for the Texas Rangers, that walk-off RBI double in the 12th inning on Friday against those stinking Houston Astros. And then, well, we've also had some moments from Billy McKinney, but this has been the most unlikely guy in Michael Helman. He was a guy who was not a highly touted prospect really at any point in his career. At one point, he made the top 30 prospects of the Minnesota Twins, who drafted him out of Texas A&M University, but he was the 29th ranked prospect in a top 30 list in 2019, just a year after he was drafted. And that's it. This is a guy who's 29 years old, who had spent all of 5 seconds in the major leagues. That was last year with the Twins, 10 whole games. And this year has more than doubled his big league total. He has now played in 21 games. Actually, it was 9 games, 10 at-bats for the Twins last year. This year, 21 games for the Rangers, and he has been crucial. 4 home runs for him. That goes with 3 other extra base hits, 2 doubles, including an RBI double in this one to drive in the only other run in this game. A 5 RBI day for Michael Helman, who also had an outfield assist of getting a runner trying to be a little bit greedy, taking that extra base at second, tagging up on a routine fly ball to center field from first base, and could not get that extra base despite Jackson Chourio being a very, very speedy guy. But Michael Helman coming up in this one, and he has had 4 home runs this season, 15 RBIs, 5 walks, and just 8 strikeouts, also 3 stolen bases. And let me provide you some things that you might not know about Michael Helman. Michael Helman is also a super utility player. He has played the infield and the outfield. I did not know that because I have not been closely studying what Michael Helman has been doing in AAA. I have been perplexed with this big league team and figuring out what all's going on with everybody on the AAA roster. It's a bit too much. He plays all the infield positions outside of first base. He was actually a primary second baseman in college, but he's played pretty much just the outfield with the Rangers at this point. He's done it fairly well. He's made some great leaping catches in the gaps. He's also got some power, and all of his home runs this year are to the pull side. He is an incredibly fast runner. He is the 96th percentile in sprint speed. He is in the top quarter of baseball, I think, if he was a qualifier among strikeout rate. He is not striking out really at all, walking about a league average rate. His barrel rate is also in the top third of baseball. The rest of his baseball savant page, not great. He's swinging and missing a whole lot. His bat speed is not particularly great. His expected batting average isn't great. Average exit velo isn't great, but he's not striking out. And the one thing that he is doing at a super elite rate, besides being incredibly fast, is pulling the ball in the air. That is the most successful way to hit a baseball. Most of the home runs that are hit are balls that are pulled and they are in the air. Occasionally, if you have, Chandler Simpson speed, you can put one on the ground and then run around the bases, and that's an inside the park home run. Occasionally, if you're crazy strong, you can get some good one-on-one and hit one to the opposite field or to dead center field. But the most successful way, most extra base hits, most home runs are hit balls in the air. The major league average for the amount of batted balls that are put in the air to the pull side is 16.7%. That's 16.7%. Michael Helman is pulling the ball in the air 42.9% of the time. That is more than double. It's basically 2.5 times the major league average. This guy all he does is pull the ball in the air, hit it with authority, occasionally chase and expand the zone, and also play really great defense, at least in the outfield. I haven't seen him play defense on the infield. I'm sure he's at least fine with what he's done out there. But the Rangers have needed a lot of outfielders, especially with Adolis Garcia on the IL, with Evan Carter done for the season. We'll talk more about Adolis Garcia's return. We got some encouraging news about that on Monday. But Michael Helman coming up in such a huge way, it reminds me of this 2023 Texas Rangers squad, in that the Rangers barely snuck into the postseason, and it makes you look back on everybody on that roster. Anybody who contributed to even one win in 2023 was the reason that the Rangers won the World Series. Jacob deGrom, in his 6 starts in 2023, the Rangers won all 6 of those starts. The Rangers don't do that without him. They don't do that without Dane Dunning going crazy in the first half and holding this team together in the second half. They don't go that way without John Gray holding up for the duration of the entire regular season. They don't go that way without, Bubba Thompson going off on the bases early on in that season for a couple wins. Travis Jankowski providing a couple of wins. I mean, even Alex Spees coming in there in a huge situation. He pitched 3 games for the Rangers. He was bad in one of them. He was okay in another one. And he was amazing in another one. The Rangers don't win the World Series without that performance from Alex Spees. And it's why I will always look back so fondly on that 2023 World Series run. And if the Rangers go on a run, even a deep post, even if they make the postseason, you'll look back on this baseball reference page, if you're like me, and an absolute sicko, you'll see, oh, yeah, Michael Helman. That's going to be remember a guy like gold tier thing in 15 years of guy remembering. If you remember Michael Helman, maybe he's just going to be a part of this roster. I mean, I don't know. A guy that's got that much positional versatility and defensive versatility and is a fast base runner and can hit the ball hard and can pull it in the air with authority and play a bazillion different positions. Maybe he does hold down an end of roster spot. I mean, this is the kind of role, maybe not the super utility position, but this is the kind of role that the Rangers thought Kevin Pillar would play. And that's what Michael Helman has done. He has been that right-handed bat. He has been a guy who crushes lefties, comes in there, and he might be on this roster next year. I don't know. He's 29 years old. So it's not like he's just some young kid. That's what makes me laugh about this little Rascals team. I mean, some of these kids are young prospects that are very, very young. I mean, Alejandro Ozuna, he's 22 years old. Cody Freeman, he's 24 years old. Dustin Harris, he's 25 years old at this point. And Michael Harris, 29-year-old rookie, 0.7 baseball reference WAR at this point. The man has been just flat out exceptional. And this is a huge part of this. The reason this Rangers team is able to scrap out these wins in the last 3 weeks while everybody's been on the IL. Corey Seager, Adolis Garcia, Evan Carter, Marcus Semien. These guys that are stalwarts, even Jake Berger missing some time in the last couple of weeks, while these guys who are stalwarts of this Rangers team Well, they have been on the IL and the Rangers were left for dead. It's kids like Michael Helman that are coming up with huge wins against the best freaking team in baseball. But it wasn't just Michael Helman coming up big in this. And we're going to talk about Jacob Latz. We're going to talk about the Rangers defense dominating in this one. All that and more right after this. This show is brought to you by Gametime. There's nothing like catching a baseball game live. The energy, the crowd, the chance to see your team in person. But actually getting tickets, that's the tough part. Queues, login screens, surprise feeds, it all takes the fun out of it. That's why I use Gametime. The app gives you the advantage back to the fans. Gametime is fast, it's easy, and it's backed by the Gametime guarantee. So you'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all the fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. This is the last week, I believe, for Frisco Rough Riders baseball. We're coming towards the end of this baseball season, so if you want to catch a game, go out there, catch a Frisco Rough Riders game. They got all kinds of great deals. It is such an easy app to use, and if you download the Gametime app now, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB, you'll get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today. Shout out to the Everydayers making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. On tomorrow's show, I'll be back and talking about maybe a series win against this Brewers squad. I'll be talking a little bit about Jack Leiter in one of his last starts of his rookie season. What a year he has been having. Hopefully he can continue to build on that against what's going to be a very, very tough opponent. I mean, this is the best team in baseball, and the Rangers, they really held them down in this game. Not a whole lot of offense for this Brewers squad. No extra base hits, just 6 singles in this one, a couple of walks. And while the Rangers weren't able to pile up the strikeouts on this team, this is not a team that strikes out really at all. I mean, we saw how good they are at protecting the zone. I mean, Cole Winn pitched an inning at third. He did not get a single swing and miss, but he was still very effective, as was Jacob Latz at the top of this, or I guess this top of this box score pitching wise, which means he is the starting pitcher. He had a great day. 5 2/3 innings of shutout baseball, 4 strikeouts for him, only 1 walk. The walks really are what killed him in that final game, in that game against the Arizona Diamondbacks. A couple of walks drove him from that game where maybe he could have finished out that 6th inning. But alas, he walked the last 2 batters that he faced. Those 2 ended up scoring, going against his final line. But this time, he does leave a runner on first base. That's a single. Cole Winn comes in a big spot and shuts that door down, having Cole Winn back. And now a 1.32 ERA on the season. I still am not quite sure how Cole Winn is doing it, but he is doing it, and that deserves a whole lot of praise, as does this Rangers defense. I mean, twice the Rangers saw what the Brewers were doing on the base paths, some very, very speedy runners, and the Rangers were able to take them out from getting that extra base. I mean, Jackson Chourio is one of the faster runners in all of baseball. Michael Helman does not have that strong of an arm. He's a good defender out there. He can really pick it, go out there and get it in the gaps because of his elite speed and his really, really good jumps on balls in the gap and just fly balls off the bat. But he doesn't have the strongest arm. And Jackson Chourio tagged up at first base saying, oh, I know I can take the extra base on this guy. Michael Helman said, no, I see what you're doing. You're out. No, don't even try. It was not particularly close either. And then on a ball that just barely got away in the dirt, Jonah Heim makes a great play to nab the runner at third base. I mean, Blake Perkins is an incredibly fast runner and a very smart base runner. I mean, this whole Brewers team, I mean, gosh, they get so much love for being, scrappy small ball guys. I mean, this was not the best execution of small ball from them, but I think that it gets overblown of how much they're Brewers, they're small market, they're small ball, they bunt and they pinch it and they do all this nonsense. They're just a darn good team. I mean, this is a team full of boppers. This is not just a bunch of guys who are bunting their way on and working walks and hit by pitches and, speedy base. I mean, they're a good base running team. They're a good fundamental discipline team. They're a really good defensive team. I mean, some of the plays that Joey Ortiz is making out there at shortstop. I mean, Bryce Terang at second base, who, on a personal note, I very much love Bryce Terang because he spells my name correctly, and him being a great baseball player makes me very, very happy. Didn't have a great day offensively in this one, or even defensively. I mean, his botched drop ball on Jake Berger right before Jake Berger worked a walk. I mean, I think that was scored an error, or no, was not scored an error in this one, but did end up letting that at bat extend. The Raiders end up going on to get the grand slam in that inning, driving in 4 of their 5 runs in that inning. But this is a team that hits incredibly well, and the Rangers were just able to shut them down. I mean, no extra base hits for a squad. I mean, Bryce Ring has an 800 OPS. Jackson Chourio, 8 points shy of an 800 OPS. Wilson Contreras is maybe the best catcher in baseball, or at least was last year until Cal Raleigh decided he was going to hit 50-plus home runs as a switch hitting catcher. Christian Yelich, a former MVP. He is a guy who received MVP votes in so many years. He's back to being that kind of form. Andrew Vaughn is a guy who's incredible. And then you look at the bottom of the line, I mean, they got Sal Frelick out there who's got a 771 OPS. I mean, he's hitting nearly 300, playing elite defense out there. And I mean, Joey Ortiz, not great with the bat, but defensively, he's as good as anybody. Sal Frelick, I mean, Blake Perkins out there, a multi-hit game for him. I mean, he's a really good defender and a good offensive player. This is just a darn good team that I think people are just saying, oh, it's cute. Oh, the Brewers, they're small market. They're cheap. They're poor, whatever. They just fall into these tropes that I don't think are accurate. If you've been watching this Brewers team, and Andrew Vaughn was a former, very high first round pick, the highest ever drafted right-handed hitting first baseman, because some of the numbers he put up in college were just absolutely historic. And it didn't work out with the White Sox because they're not a super well-run team, not a team that usually gets the best out of their prospects. Somehow they keep developing these great starting pitchers out of nowhere, despite not being a competent team. But Andrew Vaughn goes to the Brewers, and whatever they did fixed it because he has been incredible with them. This is just a darn good team, and the Rangers nearly got themselves into trouble. I mean, it's not like Jose Quintana was really bad in this one. I mean, he had one bad inning, but he was perfect through 4 innings, and he was working super economically in this one. I mean, 6 2/3 innings on 85 pitches, and they really only ran that pitch count up late. I mean, 8 of the first 12 outs that the Rangers made, so 8 of the outs in the first 4 innings, while they were still perfect, were on 3 or fewer pitches. I mean, this team, the scouting report was to jump on Jose Quintana early. I think this is them kind of riding the ship back a little bit because at times this Rangers squad, I mean, one of the things that I really have the biggest problem with offensively is just the swing decisions. It feels like at times they're just giving away ball or strike one on a pitch right down the middle, and then they're down the count 0-1, and the pitcher will throw a pitch outside the zone. They'll chase, and immediately they're down 0-2. It feels like that happens like clockwork this year, but the Rangers said, hey, Jose Quintana, we are going to go after you early. And one of the things that the Rangers have struggled with pitching-wise this year, one of the few things they struggle with pitching-wise, is giving up the most 0-2 homers in baseball. When you're up in the count with 0 balls and true strikes, if you give up a homer, that drives me absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And the only thing more maddening than that would be giving out an 0-2 homer that is also a grand slam. And that's what happened with Michael Helman. I mean, he's down on the count 0-2, first pitch, a really well-placed sinker on the outside part of the plate. 4 strike 1, he fouls it off. And then a changeup just outside the zone. I mean, you could not place that more perfectly after getting a swing on a fastball. The first pitch, he fouls it off, down 0-2 immediately with the bases loaded and 1 out. You just want to get at least that runner home at that point. That's what you're thinking if you're Michael Helman, or maybe you're not. Maybe you're Michael Helman, you see that sinker at the top of the zone that does not sink, and you drive that thing over the fence for a grand slam. I mean, this was just the thing that broke this thing wide open, giving the Rangers that 4-run lead so they didn't have to use the A side of their pen. They're able to just use Cole Winn for 4 outs. They're able to use Jacob Webb for 3 outs and Chris Martin to finish this thing off in a 5-run game. Maybe they could have gone with somebody else, but I don't blame them for going with one of their 3 most trusted relievers at this point. I think it's Sean Armstrong, who I didn't realize has a sub-1 ERA since the All-Star break, who is definitely the Rangers closer. I don't think it's a closer by committee by any means anymore. It's just Sean Armstrong's job. Then I think Phil Maton is also up there in the tree of trust relievers. And despite Chris Martin giving up that 2-run homer against the Astros that just barely dinged off that foul pole, I still very much trust him in high leverage spots. And you're able to save the best parts of your pen for the final 2 games of this series. We've got 2 fantastic starting pitchers going in Jack Leiter and in Merrill Kelly, who have been pitching exceptionally well as of late. This was just An overall great game for this Rangers squad that needs to continue to stack these great games. They are now 3.5 games back in the AL West chase because the Astros had a day off today. They are still a game and a half back of the Seattle Mariners for that final wild card spot because those darn St. Louis Cardinals weren't able to hold on to a 2-0 lead, gave up 4 unanswered runs against the Mariners and ended up losing. But the Rangers are still very much in this chase. And if they can do things like this with their 4th best starter to the best offense, best team in baseball, maybe these scrappy little Rangers who never said die actually have a chance after all, especially if they're getting some big guns back. We're going to talk about that and more right after this. This show is brought to you by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you could end up leaving money on the table. That's why there is Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. So if you've put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you, so you can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, and get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. They've got all kinds of different tools. You can see what you're spending your money on, where you're spending it, whether you're wanting to save up for a big purchase or just get a better handle on your finances. Monarch is the perfect tool for you. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONMLB. Shout out to everyone making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. After every single game, Jeff Biggs is with you with a Locked On Rangers postcast, reacting live to all 162, or I guess all, I believe 17 games that are left at this point in the season. Not all that much time left in this regular season, but Jeff Biggs is with you in your Locked On Rangers postcast on your Locked On Rangers podcast feeds on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts, you will get those postcasts. Now, the Rangers have been surviving, and not just surviving, but thriving with these scrappy little never say die Ranger rookies. I mean, Michael Helman coming up with a huge one. In this one, he has had multiple different games where he has just gone off. I mean, they've gotten some great contributions from Cody Freeman, from Alejandro Ozuna, but as good as they've gotten those contributions from those guys, they do need a little bit of help back from their stars, and they should be getting some help in the near future. Just so many Rangers on the IL right now. Who is out? Who is coming back? Who is coming back when? I mean, Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, Evan Carter, Adolis Garcia, Sam Haggerty. I mean, it is so many hitters that are on the IL and so many pitchers as well. Josh Boers was just recently shut down for the season. He is not coming back no matter when the Rangers end up finishing their season, whether it's at the end of September or the beginning of November. We are not going to see Josh Boers spike his glove after another Rangers World Series this year, no matter what. Unfortunately, his velo has plateaued. He is healthy, but the Rangers want to give him the best chance to come back and compete in 2026. He had shoulder surgery last year, and he hasn't quite been the same. He hasn't been as sharp. The velocity has been way down, averaging 91 miles an hour on his fastball. It's really tough for the Rangers to stomach. I mean, John Gray, he's indefinitely done for the season. He was just moved to the 60-day IL just recently. Evan Carter, no matter what point in the season the Rangers are playing in, we are not going to see him at all. Tyler Mahle, he could end up returning this weekend. Bruce Bochy said he is almost assuredly going to pitch this weekend against the New York Mets in New York, whether that's on Friday or Saturday or Sunday. I'm thinking it's going to be Sunday. That will be a week's rest for him. And as that lines up, we're going to see Jacob deGrom on Friday of that series, which would mean that we're probably getting, actually, no matter what, we're probably getting about 3 more starts for Jacob deGrom. I kind of love that lineup because it puts Jacob deGrom on Friday. Then his next start would be on Wednesday, the 17th in Houston against the Astros, and him starting in one of those games against Houston. I know the Rangers have lost the 2 games that he has started against Houston the last 2 times out there, but it has not been because of Jacob deGrom. It has been because the offense has completely failed him. That is not Jacob deGrom's fault. And you do want your best pitcher pitching in your most important games. And those games against Houston and against the Mets are some of the most important games that the Rangers have this season left. And then the last start he would make of the regular season would probably be on the 23rd against the Twins. And just coincidentally, that's a Tuesday. That would line up with a week's rest to start that wild card series. Should the Rangers get there, you get 3 more starts of Jacob deGrom. 2 of them are against teams holding postseason spots right now, including your most hated rival, who is ahead of you in the AL West chase in Houston. And then you line him up for that first start of the postseason should the Rangers get there. Even if the Rangers do get there and by some miracle of miracles get a first round bye, you still have Jacob deGrom lined up for game 1 whenever that is. But it's not just him who is on the IL. It seems like it's not just Mahle who is returning and changing things up in this rotation. Well, at least rotation-wise. That's all the Rangers rotation help they're going to get for this regular season. We are not going to see Nathan Eovaldi in the regular season. And the way Bruce Bochy was describing it, I believe it's going to be the 23rd when Evo is lined up to get his MRI on his shoulder. He said that he could return if the Rangers go on a run in the postseason, which means probably not that wild card series, but the ALDS is the earliest possible place where we see Nathan Eovaldi. Marcus Semien, he had a 4 to 6 week timetable for return. The 4-week range would make him eligible for that final week of the season. And it seems like that's a little bit optimistic. We're probably not going to see him until the postseason if the Rangers get there, but maybe not even for that wild card round. Maybe it's just the ALDS that we see Marcus Semien back. Danny Coulomb, he is dealing with shoulder fatigue. He has been on the IL retroactive to September 1st. He is eligible to return, I believe, this weekend against the Mets, the 16th. He is not expected to miss any more than the minimum amount on the IL. Hopefully, he will be all good. He received a cortisone shot right after he was placed on the IL. He said he's good to go. He's going to throw a rehab outing with Double-A Frisco at some point this week. And so Sunday is when he is eligible to return in New York. So he should not miss more than the minimum amount of time, which is great because the Rangers could use an extra left-hander in that pen with Hobie Milner as of late. He's been unplayable in any kind of leverage spot. Robert Garcia has kind of edged himself back into a semi-leverage relief role. I still don't fully trust it. But if Jacob Latz is able to move back into that bullpen with Tyler Mahle starting, Mahle is probably going to be slated to go 3 innings or 60 pitches. Him not being super economical with the pitch count might mean he only goes 2 1/3 innings or 2 2/3 innings, and then Jacob Latz ends up piggybacking off of him. But adding another lefty who is a leverage lefty to this pen that you can trust in a big spot, that is a huge, huge thing for this Texas Rangers squad. Now, Adolis Garcia is the guy who might, the bat at least, who might come back the soonest. He is dealing with a strained quadricep. Try saying that 15 times fast. He's going to take live BP today on Tuesday. And if that's going well, if that does go well, Bruce Bochy said that he could start ramping up towards a return. He's eligible to return off the IL on Friday. I don't think that's going to happen. Bruce Bochy said, or at least hinted at, and a return on Monday in Houston would be the ideal outcome. That would be the most ideal outcome, seeing Adolis Garcia. If the Rangers make it through, win this series, and then win this series on the road in New York against the Mets, a difficult team and a place where the Rangers have struggled, which is anywhere on the road. And then they head into Houston, still in range of the Houston Astros, needing just 1 win to win the season series with tiebreaker against the Houston Astros. And maybe at that point, the Rangers are vying for overtaking them in that AL West chase, or maybe the Seattle Mariners go on a run and surpass the Astros and the Rangers are chasing the Astros for that 3rd wild card spot. Either way, you go into all of that. If the Rangers are still keeping themselves alive and they head in that series and you get Adolis Garcia back against Houston, in Houston, a place where he absolutely lives off of those boos. Man, those Astros fans really hate him after what he has done to him. That would be absolutely ginormous. Now, we still have more injury updates because it feels like half this Rangers roster is still on the IL. Corey Seager, who is returning from an appendectomy. He saw a doctor on Monday, and he got clearance to begin what they call light core work, which I would assume is just some twisting and stretching, maybe doing the twist, the dance move. Maybe that's something that's in those plans there. Bruce Bochy said that Corey Seager is a little bit behind Adolis Garcia in terms of his timetable for return. So maybe Corey Seager doesn't make it back for that series against the Houston Astros. Maybe he makes it back for that final homestand. That would be on the 19th against the Marlins. So 10 days from now, which the initial timetable for return for Corey Seager was about 3 weeks. That would be right on 3 weeks. If he returns on the 18th, that would be the Rangers off day heading into that series against the Marlins. Be really nice to have him back for that series against Houston, but I don't think that's liking. You definitely don't want to push it and give Corey Seager a hernia. That would make him out for an even longer amount of time. I'm not sure the exact timetable for a hernia return, but it's not quick. It is definitely not quick. So the Rangers are getting some positive updates from these guys. And then one last guy who the Rangers might end up seeing sometime soon is Sam Haggerty. He has been dealing with some ankle inflammation. He was finally cleared to run at full speed with cleats early this week. He is going to start a rehab assignment this weekend. I believe that will be with the Frisco Rough Riders. And Haggerty said that his goal, he wants to be ready to go for that series against Houston. That would be huge. He also said he doesn't know how the ankle will respond. Initially, the thought was he might go on a rehab assignment this weekend. That is not the case. Or at least early this week was initially my thought. Last week was what I was hearing about Sam Haggerty. He is going to be hopefully a go for that series against the Houston Astros, another guy who plays 18 bazillion different positions and absolutely crushes left-handed pitching and has had some really quality at-bats, plays some quality defense, and is a very high quality base runner. He's been an important part of this Rangers team, and getting him back may mean we don't see as much of either Alejandro Ozuna, or maybe we don't see as much of Dustin Harris anymore. Maybe it means we see a little bit less of Cody Freeman. I don't know exactly what the roster construction would look like at that point, but each additional guy coming back in this run, and even when these guys have been hurt, I mean, it doesn't matter who. It's just that next man up mentality that it kind of seems like a way of life for this Texas Rangers squad, and it is leading to some incredibly successful results. I don't think that means when the guys who we thought were a little bit better come back, that this team is going to fall apart by any means, but these kids holding down the fort and getting a game like this from Michael Helman against the best team in baseball while your pitching staff shuts down this Brewers vaunted offense without even having to use too many of your A-side relievers. You get a 5-0 win and starting what hopefully is a decent winning streak against maybe the best team in baseball. That puts this team in a fantastic position. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank y'all so much for listening and subscribing. And until next time, don't forget to enjoy baseball.